you for inviting us. We're very appreciative. I want you to know that Bobby Rush has a long history of caring and fighting and providing leadership. And Danny Davis has been working to do something about incarceration and what happens when these young men are returned to the neighborhoods. And the Honorable Robin Kelly came to the Congress and hit the ground running and talked about her platform, what she ran on, and she said she is focused on this as her #1 priority. Give them another round of applause. I'm so pleased that Cedric Richmond is here with us from New Orleans. He's been dealing with violence in so many ways. New Orleans has experienced all kinds of hazards, as you know, and on top of that, they've had to deal with the crime. When you see a young man like this elected to the Congress of the United States, he is a role model whether he wants to be or not, and I'm just delighted that he's here with us today, providing leadership. Corrine Brown, who comes from Florida, not only has been dealing with this issue, but you may have seen her recently as she's been dealing with the issue of Trayvon Martin. She has spoken up, she has challenged, and she's been on the front line. Give her a big round of applause. Mr. Mayor, I am so pleased that you're here at this summit today for so many reasons. We have discovered in working with this issue to the degree that we can have the leadership of the city interact with all of the communities, interact with the young people, and yes, interact with the gangbangers.
Yes, ma'am.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, I do.
It makes a big difference, and let me tell you why. Reverend Jesse Jackson knows. He worked with me in Los Angeles as I have worked over the years in public housing developments. He came with me and spent the night in Nickerson Gardens housing project several years ago. The young people lined up around the block to see Jesse Jackson.
That's right.
Because they think we don't care, and nobody's gonna come to see about them. And so when you have the mayor, and you have national elected officials, and you have leadership go into the communities, they understand that, they recognize that. That's important to them. And you must make sure that they're not anonymous, that you get to know who they are. Gator?
Yes, ma'am.
I worked with Gator in Chicago years ago. We brought gangbangers to the Democratic National Convention.
Sure did.
We set up a platform. They like involvement. They like recognition. They have leadership that will never be realized unless we connect them to it.
That's right.
And so, Mr. Mayor, despite the fact that we have, in a number of efforts, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to be a young person who is in poverty, who have parents who have nothing, who have daddies in prison, and sometimes mama and daddy both on drugs, and on and on and on. And people wonder why they gather together. They gather together because they make their own family, and they move into abandoned buildings, and they take over.
Yeah.
And once these young people see certain things going on in their homes and in their communities, when they see their mamas and their daddies in certain activities and feel abandoned, you got some dangerous people on your hands.
That's right.
Because if you can't look to a safety net to your mama and your daddy, you don't care about anybody else.
That's right.
And you better understand that. Some of the parents and others who are responsible for the young people need help themselves. And so when we talk about going into these communities, we should gather all of our resources and have the mentality of a social worker who's willing to connect mama, daddy, brother, sister, the juvenile system, the health system, all of that, if we possibly can, and we should work toward it. The other thing is this. Young people don't have any money, and they want money. They want money to do the same things all of us do. Go to movies, go to plays, go to concerts, dress nicely, all of that stuff that they see on television, that they think every American is supposed to have. But they have no way of getting it. And so, if you're poor, you don't have a safety net, you don't have any real support in your community, what's left to do? But number one, take something that belongs to somebody else, sell some dope, some drugs.
Good. Good.
Or do what? Whatever you can to survive. And so, needing money must not be overlooked. In all that we do, one of the things I did in Public Housing Project was create a program called Community Build.
That's right.
Fortunately, I was in the state legislature at the time. I had access to federal money known as Wagner-Pizer money. And so I created a job training program.
Sure did.
Because guess what? The job training programs didn't come into the housing projects and the neighborhoods where the kids really
Better listen. Right.
And so in this program that I designed, it was not designed from anybody from Harvard or Princeton or anyplace else. It was a program based on experience and having worked in public housing developments and understanding young people. What we did was we did a simple program that talked about coming into the gymnasiums and learning what it means to be an employee, what it means to be on a job, what employers are inspecting, how to dress, how to talk, how to act, all of that, how to fill out job applications. We had people working on them, taking them home at night, bringing them back. We helped them to learn how to get references. And I told them about networking and connecting. When you go to church, you can use your minister as a reference.
That's right.
When you go to school, you can use your teacher as references.
That's right.
And you have some support when you're looking for jobs. We did all of that, but let me tell you something else we did. Back in the day, it wasn't a lot of money. We had made sure we had food. When they came in the morning, they had juice, and they had rolls, and they had sandwiches for lunch, and we gave them all $10 at the end of the day.
Right.
And we did a little lesson on the $10. We said, first of all, hold up this $10, and we want everybody to say, I'm not going to give the dope man my $10 today.
You better listen.
Not going to get dope, not going to get this, not going to spend it on any crack. We're going to use this money for haircuts, to get our clothes clean, or we're going to share it with our sister who's taking care of the baby. We're going to give our grandmama a little something. Let's talk real.
Right.
Let's talk what we understand and what we know. You don't have to create a new way of dealing with these young people. You know what it is, but sometimes we forget. And I want you to know that we were able to connect people with job opportunities. We were able to get people back in school. How many kids came up to me and said, quietly, Ms. Waters, I can't read.
But listen.
Need some help with literacy. But they don't automatically tell you that. They got to get to know you. That's why you got to be in the community. You got to not be afraid to walk the neighborhoods. I love being over here at the university, Mr. President. This is wonderful. But I would much rather be in Inglewood.
But listen, right.
Walking the street.
Right.
I've been in those public housing projects for any number of years. Out of that, we've had lots of successes. We had a job training program for optic fibers, laying them. Young people made good money. Some of them bought houses. I had a young man who was an ex-felon, whose wife left him with his son. He came into my program. His son, we hired the young man because he showed a lot of promise. His son is an intern in my office today and enrolled at Howard University.
But listen.
So we can
Right.
do
Know
this.
what to do. Yes, ma'am.
We can do this. I don't like to listen to a lot of theory.
Thank you.
Come on, Max.
Either you know something about this or you don't.
You don't. Come on, Max.
And so people who know something about this really have to provide some leadership and tell the theorists, that's good, but let me show you how to do it. You go get me some resources and some money
Right.
to put in these neighborhoods
Right.
so that we can help these young people get off
Right.
the street.
Right.
Now, let me just tell you this.
Right.
When young people learn to trust you and love you because you show love,
There you go.
you can lead them and you can guide them.
But listen.
When I walk through public housing projects, they run out, we hug, we kiss. I hug everybody. And guess what? Sometimes when I see a young man and his pants is all down below his butt and everything, I say, come here. pull them pants up.
And they do it.
They kind of laugh, okay, Miss Waters.
That's right.
As soon as I turn my back to that. Well, the fact of the matter is we learn to communicate. Folks, it takes everybody doing something. It's no one way, but you really got to feel it. You really got to love the young people. You really got to have the right spirit. Law enforcement, it's not about being tough. Yeah, law enforcement is tough because they got a gun and a badge.
One more time.
It's not about blocking everybody up. It's about being the cop that says, look, Mr. Commissioner, I want to get from behind this desk. I want to get out of this car. I want to be in the blocks. I want to get the kids to know me. I want to show them that I'm a father, that I understand, and that I'm not here to shoot them. I'm not here to kill them. I'm not here to lock them up. And so you got to build that trust. Now, there's some other work for the police department. After you say all that you talk about, why can't you tell us where these guns are coming from?
Now listen.
That's your job.
Yeah, they know.
That's your job. You have intelligence.
Right.
You have resources. If you stop the guns from coming in the neighborhood, maybe the families and the churches organizing and working can do some kind of inspiration and motivation working with the resources. Now, I have to tell you, Mr. Mayor, you're talking about the summer jobs? You're absolutely right. They are so very important. But we have so many young people who have dropped out. We have, on the streets now, our gangbangers are 13, 14.
Better listen. You better listen. Better listen.
And so, we're not simply talking about summer jobs program. We're talking about how do we embrace them? How do we get them back into school? How do we get the GEDs done working with them?
Right.
How do we do the kind of working with job development in ways that we teach young people how to go and look for jobs at the right places? You know, and when I tell my ex-felons all the time, and young people, please don't go to the highest building with the biggest office. First of all the jobs are on the internet.
Right.
Secondly, I want you to go to those businesses and organizations in and about the neighborhoods, and I want you to sell yourself. I want you to tell them, look, I've been to jail. I did some time. But I've been out, and I'm looking for a job, and guess what? I'm not going back to jail.
That's right.
I want to work for you. And if you hire me, I'll be the best employee you ever had.
That's right.
I'll be here every day. I'll be on time. I'll do the work. I'll stay late because I'm not going back to jail. I want to work. I want to be a part of a community. I've got 2 kids out there. Or I've got a mother out there who needs some help. On and on and on. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in this work that you do, I want you to take the experiences that you have had in life, that your foreparents have had in life. I want you to talk the language. I want you to gain the trust. I want you to work with the elected officials. I want us all to be in the neighborhoods. Marching in the neighborhoods, there's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, if we all got out of here today and walked through Inglewood or someplace, they'd all say, what are they doing here? Oh, look, there's so-and-so and so-and-so. The mayor is out here on the street. So Bill Clinton walked Watts with me.
Right.
Bill Clinton came and walked Watts with me, went into the neighborhoods, went into the Maxine Waters Employment Preparation Center, and I gathered up a bunch of gangbangers and brought them to Washington, D.C. to the Congressional Black Caucus Legislative Conference. And all of them, all of the ones we worked with, turned out to be young people who were leaders in their own right, who ended up doing some of the peace treaties. Now, I want you to know, gangbangers like peace treaties.
Yeah, they do.
Because it's all about my neighborhood, my area, my hood. And so, oftentimes, it ain't about drugs that they're fighting about. It's simply my manhood and my neighborhood.
Right.
This is what I control. And so, they like peace treaties.
That's right.
You give them the leadership
That's
to
right.
put together the peace treaties.
That's right.
And then you back them up so that they can help bring some resources in. Then you're on your way to dealing with gang violence and gang violence.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
All right, Matt. Good teaching.
All of you need to tell the truth. Oh, girl is hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Give Maxine